Hello, my name is Cassandra Snow. I am one of the co-founders of Gadfly Theater Productions.
Hi, I'm Immanuel Elliott, the other co-founder of Gadfly Theater Productions.
We are very, very passionate about live art and performing art and theater in particular. But we also are both very adamantly queer and very adamantly feminist, and felt that the representation that was getting, not just in theater but all over, theater is just where my background and real passion lies, was not adequate, I guess, and so we decided to start a company to fix it.
And like Cassandra said, I am very queer and very feminist, and was unhappy with the state of queer and feminist art in the world, and am working to try to change that.
We just had a very broad mission statement, and our hope was always that that would mean that we were going to do a lot of queer-centric shows and women-centric shows. But after a year of fielding tons and tons of scripts and artists and things that weren't really right for the company, we kind of niched it down, for lack of a better term, to just the core of what we really believe in and what we really want to see, which is queer and feminist theater, and that has worked a lot better.
The core root of what we do and why we do the work we do is, like, our society is afraid of almost anything feminine, and whether that be actual women or feminized men, something about that is scary, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why we've been socialized to think that way. Through the work that Gadfly does, I really want to examine that and why we think these things are scary, and more importantly, what can we do to make them less scary.
I think queer rights and women's rights have so much in common, is because I do think there's an overarching patriarchy that's keeping both of those bound. It has so much to do with our society's notions of gender. And so I think that if you kind of tackle one, you do end up tackling the other, whether you really mean to or not. That being said, I still think it's really important to provide a unified front and to know that that's what you're fighting against. And it's also just really hard for me to get excited about a story that does not have both of those components. So there's a part of our manifesto that says we're building a playground for the obscure, the oppressed, and the unapologetically original. And that is something that I have always tried to do, again, with my life, but certainly, absolutely, of the company. What that means to me is building a rehearsal space, or certainly a space for audiences when they get in to come to the shows, where if you have been oppressed in other parts of society, A, you don't need to worry about it, but B, you not only don't need to worry about it, but we're going to be there for you, and we're going to open a dialogue in a way that's going to be helpful and supportive to you. And then, of course, the obscure, it's about raising visibility, giving people a voice that might not otherwise have one, giving people a story they can relate to that they might not otherwise have had. And then, of course, the unapologetically original. I think that there are a lot of people that are marginalized, even just for how they talk to people or how they dress or whatever, and I want to make sure that they, in my opinion, they are certainly welcome in this queer, inclusive space. Yes.
And I think that in theater or any sort of performing arts, especially, it's a very image-conscious business, and when you go to a theater, you kind of see the same type of pretty white, skinny people on stage, and that's not an accurate cross-section of the world we live in. So when we're choosing artists and technicians, and anyone that we want to work with, we want to make sure our rainbow is as brightly colored as possible, and as big as possible. So that means we don't really give a damn as to what type an actor is, or what their skin color is, or even what the playwright said in the play. And so I think that's opened us up to a lot of, like, really phenomenal actors that we've worked with who normally wouldn't be playing, like, a leading man type of role because they're too gay, or they're maybe a little bit bigger, or maybe they're too old, and we don't care about any of that stuff, and we don't tolerate differences at Gadfly. We celebrate them.